On the Camp Fire in Butte County, within the past few minutes, CAL FIRE and other authorities have been providing some new numbers. Now, crews on the fire lines are making some progress.
But there is a jump in the number of people listed as missing, and the death toll is rising. Ken
Bastida in the newsroom. He's got the very latest for us tonight. Ken,
yeah, and it's not good news, guys. The Butte County Sheriff's Department just putting out some new numbers. The number of confirmed deaths now stands at 71 people, and that is 8 more than yesterday. Of those 71 victims, 58 have now been tentatively identified. Also tonight, a big jump in the number of those listed as missing. That is up to 1,011 individuals. They can't account for these people. It was over 600 yesterday. The sheriff's new numbers include people who may not have checked in and notified authorities that they are safe. If you're watching this, do that with authorities and we can take your name off the list. The fire has destroyed more than 12,000 buildings, and that includes close to 10,000 homes. The Camp Fire has now scorched 146,000 acres. One bit of good news, it is now 50% contained. It's half out. CAL FIRE officials, like everybody else, keeping a close eye on the forecast. They are hoping to get help from the rain expected in the middle of the week. And of course, we'll continue to follow the latest developments. Alan, Melissa?
All right, Ken, thanks.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Every day,
right. Getting worse and worse.
Well, you feel terrible for these people. It's been devastating for them, and I couldn't imagine coming back here if this was my home. Our hope is that if there are missing people, we can find them and bring some closure to people that need that.
These crews are also examining the burned out cars that are scattered across town. They're actually looking in through the windows, looking for any sign that someone might have gotten trapped inside.
And new at 6, as the search for victims continues, the hunt for housing is just ramping up, and many people are uninsured with nowhere to go.
KPIX5's Emily Turner joins us. Survivors of the Camp Fire say they're stuck in limbo. They're just kind of waiting for this help to show up.
It's just such an awful situation no matter how you look at it. And they don't have the money for a hotel, and they refuse to go to shelters because they can't take their pets, or there's a norovirus outbreak. Many of them ask me the same question. Where is FEMA? But the answer to that is not as simple as you might think.
Lines are out the door and frustration is through the roof. For hundreds, if not thousands of Camp Fire victims, help isn't coming quickly enough.
Like, now what? We don't know where to go, what to do. I'm hoping someone has some answers.
But those answers aren't likely to come from FEMA. Despite popular impression, it says, their response is initially meant to take a backseat to local aid. In fact, the process is designed that way. Take a look. The fire broke out on the 8th. That same day, Governor-elect Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for California. 3 days later, Governor Brown requests federal disaster relief. After the regional FEMA coordinator consults with the White House, President Trump declares a federal major disaster declaration the next day. That's the federal process. That federal declaration allows people to register for federal aid and FEMA to mobilize and force on the ground. In Chico, FEMA opened its disaster recovery center today, just 4 days after that declaration, a timeline that they say is incredibly fast. But plenty waiting in line and across the street at this makeshift settlement disagree.
I don't know what we're going to do. FEMA's not helping. They said 7 to 15 days to let us know.
I asked FEMA why it hasn't dispensed hotel vouchers or monetary aid yet. I have yet to get a response other than this one.
Shelters are supposed to fill that gap. That's the shelters. The shelters are supposed to serve that function in that transition. And of course, right now there's some public health concerns with some of the shelters, and so that confuses the situation, makes it a little more complicated.
Complicated is simply the best way to describe this. However, literally just during this commercial break, I got good news from FEMA via a text message. Transitional shelter is available now to those that have registered and are deemed eligible. That's the key, deemed eligible. They also, this weekend, will be getting phones so that they can get info that will eventually allow them to finally move into hotels. Melissa?